Brain box.
Ask me to get lost. Well, that's exactly what I'll do. This is actually a story told by a friend of mine. HV. This is an experience during his student days when they are training to be a medical assistant (MA) in the hospital. Apparently they were assigned to a pediatric ward for the day by their assessor to learn the ropes and stuff. The nurses in the ward of course were busy and predictably had no time to guide all these student MAs about how to run the ward. HV in particular is one of the more outspoken and naughty ones. He kept asking questions and saying things like you should be at least pretend to be guiding us around, you know. Finally one of the nurse had it with his questions and told him to go and play somewhere far away. "Aka don't disturb me anymore." He said fine and went off to a nearby coffee shop just outside the hospital compound and stayed there till the end of the office hours and went back to the college together with the others. The next day he was called in by the sister, senior nurse in a managerial position, and was asked why he played hooky yesterday. He pointed to the nurse who shooed him away yesterday and said, "This nurse told me to go somewhere far away, so I did." Predictably the sister's face darkened and she called all the nurse to have a chat with them. After that apparently all the nurses showed a better attitude and actually guided his batch around. He never actually got into trouble for his antics that day. Would you like a Pepsi or an iced tea? Yes. I waited tables for 10 years. When I would first interact with tables, I would usually greet them and follow up, "What are we drinking today? Pepsi? Iced tea? Or some variation of that for dinner shift?" Morning was coffee or juice. I had a table one day, a dad, his wife, and their son. I do my greeting, and when I get to dad, he just says yes. I figure he misheard me or thought I asked something else. So I tried again. "I'm sorry sir. What can I get you to drink?" Again, he just says yes. "We've got Pepsi, iced tea, coffee." Yes. At this point, I realize he's being a dick. Okay, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Sir, I asked you a multiple choice question, and you're giving me a yes or no answer. Would you like a Pepsi, an iced tea, or a coffee? Yes. At that point, I'm done. I can see his wife is getting annoyed with him, and the son is giggling. I grab their drink, mom's, kids, and dad's Pepsi iced tea coffee monstrosity. Thankfully, they all got a kick out of it. Dad later explained to me that they're regulars. He always gets Pepsi, and he was 100% positive I had waited on them before. I hadn't, and just wanted to have a little fun. The rest of the meal went well, they tipped well, and whenever I waited on them again, I'd bring Dad a monstrosity followed by his usual Pepsi. The cashier complied, and now I have a loaf of bread. There's this bakery at the train station where I buy my lunch after school regularly for the past 3 years or so. Almost every time I'd visit there'd be this cashier that I've known for years since she lived in my town. Sometime in March last year I stared saying surprise me when she asked me what I wanted when I couldn't decide. She always gave me a random pastry and we were both happy. Today I went to the bakery like usual and couldn't decide what to get. There was a new girl working the register, but I decided to say surprise me anyways. Well, it didn't go how I thought it would. She was like okay and turned around and grabbed a random rye and spelt loaf of bread. I most definitely wasn't expecting that and stood there confused as fuck. I bought it anyways and now I have a log of bread in my book bag. Not the best case scenario but hella funny. I mean I can't complain. She did what I asked her. SMH. Attempted malicious compliance. Not mine but my husband's. My husband once worked in a deli and had this customer always complaining about how flavorless the wings were, though he came back for more saying they should put more flavor in them. This guy annoyed them so much so one day my husband figured he would comply and added the hottest hot sauce he could find in the store to this guy's wings thinking he would stop after this. The guy does not come back that day, but he showed up the next day. "Can y'all make the wings like y'all did yesterday? Those were good wings full of flavor," they told him. That employee was a one-day temp from another store. Kinda worked out for the customer. That one day though, shoot me I dare you. First off, because I know people do this at the start of posts, so let's get it out of the way. English is my first language, but I'm on mobile, don't know what that means. But there ya go, and this is my first post on here. Not sure if this really belongs here, but I feel it does. Cast me, yeah boy B1, middle brother B2, youngest brother M, mom D, dad. Anyways, time for the story. So on Christmas, me and my brothers got these Nerf rival guns, and we, after a while of shooting each other with them, we got bored and went to do other things. Well, sometime later I come out and my youngest brother is still playing with his Nerf gun. Now, me being me, I decided, wouldn't it be fun if I decided to shoot my brother? So I did. Then my brother pointed his gun at my chest. Note, I was by our couch standing over him and he was sitting on the floor. This is important for later. Me, shoot me, I dare you. B2, okay. B2 proceeds to lower the gun towards my rather precious area, and what do you know, he shoots. Me, lets out sound of pain. B1, B2, M, and D were just dying laughing over it. B1, that's what you get, mema boy. M and D, welp, you asked for it. I promptly got up and went to my room, trying my best not to laugh as well, because honestly it was pretty funny. My family will not let me live that down, and to this day they still bug me about Pyjama Day compliance. So firstly, I'd like to state that the person I did this to didn't exactly deserve it. They just caught me in a bad mood, and I thought it would be funny, so maybe I was a bit of a jackass, but it's still an amusing story. When I used to work as a kitchen porter, our manager wanted to work in our pajamas for Pyjama Day. Now, I think that's a dumb idea, mostly because in a kitchen, if you're wearing pajamas or even your everyday clothes, you'll just ruin them because they can get wet or stained. Usually both XD. 2, I don't actually wear any pajamas and opt for sleeping in my underwear since I find it to be a lot more comfortable. So I walked into work wearing my everyday casual clothes and went to change into my kitchen uniform, which even for me was a chef's jacket and a pair of chef trousers. After I got dressed, I went into the kitchen and started on morning deliveries. The manager saw me and was having none of it, and the following conversation then took place. Manager, op, why aren't you wearing your pajamas? It's Pyjama Day. Me, I don't really want to wear pajamas to work, they would get ruined, plus I don't. She then interrupts me. Manager, no, you need to wear your pajamas, come on, think of how fun it would be. At this point I got a bit annoyed since I'm not much of a morning person and I was tired from pulling a good amount of shifts that week, so I decided to comply. I then proceeded to go back into the changing room, stripped down to my underwear, and just put an apron over myself. I then went back into the kitchen, and soon as they saw me, all my colleagues started laughing. The manager came in to see what all the ruckus was about and saw me. The expression on her face was priceless. Her eyes widened, her mouth gaped, and she was staring at me. Manager, where are your clothes? Me, well, you told me to work in my pajamas, so I am. If it's a problem, I can take off the apron too, since it's not part of my outfit, I suppose. She continued gaping at me, and at this point I could barely keep myself from literally laughing to death. I must have had the most shit-eating grin on my face ever seen on a member of our species. After a few more seconds of stuttering and general gaping, she sighed in exasperation and told me to just get in my uniform, and I decided not to push my luck any further. To be honest, I was half convinced I would get fired for that, but it was too funny an idea to pass up, so there. Anyway, moral of the story is never force people to do something at work that they would at home if they don't want to, because you just might get what you asked for. D.